and welcome to the Decoders channel. Welcome back. Tonight is a special night because we have Hash again from Divine Dogs for the DeFi Dog Show number 3. Welcome home, bro.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
That's not the only reason why it's a special night, man. You can go ahead and tell them.
Yes.
Man.
Okay, so first, show off your merch.
Oh yeah, May 4th. I know for some people in the region's not, but got a shout out to the prequels, man. Got a shout out to episode 1, Phantom Menace. You know how it is, man.
Is that really part of the law?
God's merch today, unfortunately.
Yeah. But it's also a special night because for the Decoders community, now you have access to the first watch to earn players. And this is the first show that you can start to earn views. So if you are watching right now the show via the watch.decoders.com URL, you should see your timer starting. You will be able to claim your first views after the first minute of the show. And that's what we are going to do for the foreseeable futures. Every stream will be on that platform, and you will be able to earn tokens. It's gonna be exciting. I'm really excited to see how people react to that. So if in the chat, like if you're like earning views right now, please let me know if there is any issue or anything. That should be fine though. And the second little announcement I have to do is, again, about Asset Dash, our main partner of the channel. If you don't have the app, please use our referral link. It's basically a portfolio for your crypto and NFT. Tomorrow, we have the greatest giveaway ever show. It's going to be a huge stream for the channel. So yeah, make sure you guys using this app. And yeah, that's all I have to tell you about everything. And yeah, we're going to start the show and talking about DeFi.
Yeah, man.
Ash, it's all yours, bro. What happened last month in DeFi world?
Yeah, it's been a pretty incredible month. You know, like we were talking about a bit before the show. I mean, looking at some of the things that have happened, you know, all-time high DEX volumes from before pre-FTX. Yeah, 30 million in DEX volume over the last just 24 hours on Jupiter. We're seeing a lot of liquidity flowing to the market from the meme coins perspective. You see that pumping this morning. And then obviously what happened with Mad Lads, I think, has a lot to do with that. And you know, as of May 1st, officially, you know, a few days ago, DEX volumes are now higher than pre-FTX. You know, I don't think a lot of people would have seen that. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would have seen that happening, such a quick turnaround. But that, on top of how the active wallets are now kind of surpassing any other ecosystem right now, is kind of insane. So with all of that, it's a really exciting time to be in Solana.
That's cool.
Let alone Solana DeFi.
That's going to be exciting for the upcoming months. Do you think the bull market is back?
Not quite, but maybe it is for Solana, man.
Yeah.
Maybe pretty soon for Solana DeFi for sure. I mean, with the market the way it is right now, it's not a bull market, right? As far as tokens pricing going the way they are. I mean, maybe it is for the theme season, right? But as far as DeFi right now, this is kind of the type of price action you want if you're trying to follow liquidity into different things. Really, what DeFi is, and as we'll get into the main section, is you follow the volume and liquidity, and you ride that wave wherever it is within an ecosystem. And we're seeing kind of the perfect wave right now. You don't want the wave to be too big or too small, you know, when you're surfing, and it's kind of right at the perfect wave right now for those DeFi surfers.
No, that's pretty cool. That it like, yeah, we can make money even in the bear market because of DeFi. Yeah. And Mad Labs means.
Absolutely, because of that.
Did you get yours?
I did not. I missed out on all type of pre-sales and stuff. You know, I own basically like every NFT in the Solana ecosystem, but like I feel like I was a little bit more active in the Mickey's group chat. Like I probably got like a couple, but I just not that super active in group chats nowadays.
It's hard to stay on top of everything like all the time. It's crazy. Like, left and right, there is good projects still, and or at least obvious plays, and it's so fucking hard to track up everything.
Yeah, I wish I was back to my Degen days, like NFT Degen days before I had this full belief in Solana DeFi. It's
Yeah.
like I just remember the days I'd be just scrolling through those group chats all day. This what's the play today, boys? But now it's like I'm telling everybody what's the play today, boys, for DeFi
Yeah.
now.
Okay, so yeah, like Solana takes volume. Like we really need to talk about that because, like, yeah, Solana takes volume higher than pre-FTX. So I mean, is that all-time high, or like we get back to FTX volume?
No, so that's like right before
Okay,
FTX went to where it was. Yeah, so
okay. So we were already lost like 80% of the volume, and then FTX happened. Okay,
yeah, pretty much. But what's cool about that is that as we both know, it's showing recovery, right?
yeah,
We're showing recovery. We're showing that even though FTX is out of the market now,
mm,
that we're still seeing that we're not just a dead chain, right? Like many people predicted once
yeah,
FTX ended, once all that happened within that. So I think Solana just continues to prove its resilience, and that's going to pay its dividends for DeFi, especially when um, people aren't that involved in it. But now, as we're seeing, is that even though DEX volumes are at near, excuse me, pre FTX, right? We're not seeing a whole bunch of yield rates at
mm,
um, pre FTX, which tells me that more people are getting involved in Solana DeFi. You're having a
yeah,
lot more liquidity within the market, which are lowering yields. So it's interesting to see that because even though we had like 30 million volume over the past 24 hours, it's like we're not seeing stupid deals. I mean, obviously, if you go to Radium and you go to the pools there, you're seeing
mm,
like 2,000 APY on Guac, right? Guac, the USDC. So, I mean, if you want to go there and degen there, but it's a fun time because there's now opportunities for sustainable
mm.
plays in DeFi, and there's also now with the volume, there's plays in degen DeFi that we haven't seen in a pretty long time with Solana. I'd say last time was when Bonk kind of had that first run. You had
Yeah.
those
Bro, I
opportunities.
need bonk. I need a new airdrop so I can make another 20K because of the gold holding rate and shit, right?
Man,
Let me know,
I
Fibre.
don't want to talk about Bonk because I was one of the few guys who, because I remember like before Bonk, there was always just there's these
Yeah.
airdrops of random tokens, right? And I'm
Mm,
like, okay, I'm gonna sell before this thing just goes immediately to zero. And
yeah.
for one time, I think I'm being smart. It's
Yeah.
Bonk, right?
Yeah. No, that's why I don't touch that shit, man. I'm not putting a dime into shit coins. Like the fucking Pepe ride is insane.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, seeing all those wins on Twitter and like
Yeah.
I'm not even on ETH Twitter, but it's just shoved in my face that people are turning $1,000s into millions or hundreds in the hundreds of thousands,
Mm,
it's 1,000xing their cash. But that's
yeah.
that's an interesting part of the cycle that we're at, right? It's like
Mm.
the meme coins are now taking off. So what's going to be next?
Like,
The cycle is.
what's required to catch up those meme coins like early? Because like you can catch the fucking top of a meme coin, or should you spend $100 if you have $1,000 to spend on Bitcoin? Should you split it into 10 bets and then hopefully one bite?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to be a Solana degen, I mean, it's in our blood. But I mean, it depends on who you are, right? If
Yeah.
you're a degen with a lot of capital, I mean, why not? If
Mm.
you're someone who's has a vision and kind of focused on something that you're doing right now, I don't see the reason, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
category that I fall into. But as far as catching them early, I remember back in 2021, early 2021, it's like I just lurk on the Binance chain to see which ones are
Yeah.
popping off, and I literally just throw $10 into the
Yeah.
next 100 that just show up,
Mm.
right? But
The good old days.
yeah, I know, and I still remember where I chose, which ended up still working out. But I remember seeing Shiba and like Safe Moon right next to each
Mm.
other. I'm like, all my friends are in Safe Moon, so I'll just follow that. I'm not going into Shiba, and then Shiba ends up being billions of dollars of market cap. It's just Those that was the days. Those were the days. That was
Yeah.
real meme season when you can have a just a Binance shitcoin kind of go to top 20 market cap. That's pretty unique.
Yeah, no,
So
100%. And like, I mean, it's you can make money obviously, right? But like, is that even good for DeFi, like or launching all of those Bitcoin again? Like we already had this discussion with Bonk, right? Like that bring people into pools like Radium and understand that with like free money that they get airdrop and shit, right? Like, do you see like a long-term effect on DeFi because of this shitcoin stuff?
um well, considering that Binance kind of was built off that, I think it can have a positive effect. It just kind of depends on
Yeah.
um it depends on how you look at it, right? Like Binance is now thought of like a meme coin chain,
Mm.
right? They have literally dexes built off just meme coins like a pancake swap, right? Like how to be the most efficient swapping in and out of these meme coins. So you have other areas that lag behind. Like nobody takes Binance NFTs seriously. I'm sorry if
Yeah.
anybody's a Binance NFT holder,
Yeah.
but that's kind of how it is. So it's you can have positive effects because people can definitely like get a bag, right,
Mm.
and earn some money off of it. But for saying that it's a long term
Yeah.
vision for DeFi, I think that's yet to be seen.
Yeah.
But I don't think it garners any true respect for James.
Yeah, the storytelling is really important behind the chain that you back it up with your like NFT or shitcoin stuff, right? Yeah, if you become like a shitcoin chain, that's long term. That could probably can fuck up your chain attractiveness for serious investors.
Yeah, and I think it just like I've never there's not a lot, excuse me, where I'm just like this Binance B BRC 20
Yeah.
coin, like it's gonna be like I can see a long term future with this. I'm
Mm.
a bad builder. There's not a
Yeah.
lot you can say about it where I can say that with Solana NFTs. Some people look at Solana NFTs the way they look like where they look at Binance and their meme coin, right? It's
Mm.
just kind of a degen NFT space. So maybe there are. I mean, I'm sure there are people that are on
Yeah.
that DeFi side in Binance that think the way that we do about NFTs here on Solana. So
Mm.
um, I mean, it's you can't deny the market cap that they have, right, and the
Yeah.
volume that goes through it. And even they're one of the few chains that are above Solana and active users, right? Kind of killed everybody in
Mm.
active. And I think that has a lot of do with a lot of different variables. But at the same time, there's a lot of money that flows through it. And like
Yeah.
we said at the beginning, if there's volume flowing through something, that's opportunity and that's something to take advantage of because that's
Mm.
always where you're gonna have the most yield.
Yeah. Yeah. I minted like I remember like Pancake Swap NFTs. Um,
Yeah.
and some wallet like put like fucking $1 million into those NFTs. I have no idea what the price is right now, but I can see this wallet doubling the portfolio with that shit. It was crazy though. Like I minted for I think 30K or something, and I sold it for 5 BNB. So that was cool. But like tricky as fuck, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a sketchy chain.
Yeah.
You gotta
Man,
go through
yeah, I
like
even went from Binance to Wagyu swap. It was fuck. It was what? The launch of the it was Elrond Pancake Swap like, and the API was like 5,000. So obviously it went down after a week, and yeah, I exceeded that shit like break even. But bro, like they're like, yeah, it was something.
yeah,
It was the good old times.
yeah, the fact there's the Binance coin, there's
Mm,
2 different Binance coins on there, and you gotta make
yeah,
sure that you don't send your coins to the wrong Binance address.
yeah,
It's like, holy fuck, do not
yeah. Yeah, it's very
I've seen
expensive.
people I've had friends lose $1,000 because they just sent it to the wrong Binance address and it's gone forever.
That's fuck.
That's part of the blockchain, you
Mm,
know, there's a lot of those stories out there, but
yeah.
gosh, they don't make it any easier, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No, so, and okay, so the other topic that we can talk about is like which doesn't make NFT trading NFT easier. It's Blend from Blur, where you can basically buy NFT on leverage.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Man, I've had a lot of stuff sent to me on Blend. I'm gonna be honest, the full extent I haven't done because I can see why they do it. And I
Mm,
initially, when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, this is good for further financialization and like at least exposure financialization of NFTs. Because for the first time, I mean, we've talked about this countless times, but
yeah.
how Frank has never really been in touch with DeFi, right? But he actually
Mm.
tweeted about DeFi and the Blend things
Oh,
and yeah, financialization of NFTs because of what happened with Blend. So I mean, I can. What really sucks and what really sticks with me that I'm makes me iffy about it is the fact that both parties, the borrower and the lender, can
mm,
both be screwed over because of that anytime liquidation factor.
yeah,
And s and so that's one thing I have not seen, is that the lender can just liquidate at any point in time,
yeah.
which, I can't imagine if that was true within, like, Sharky or something like that.
No, it's gonna be tricky, but yeah, like okay, so we can check like the YouTube chat comments. So yeah, first when chat authentication on Decoder's website. Yes, I saw that when we started, like when I set up like the stream. Yeah, like when you click on the chat to put a comment from the watch.decoders.com, it's opening like up the YouTube stream. So right now, if you want to comment, you need to open two tabs. Sucks. At least could make two views. So I don't know, but yeah, I will fix that. And from Khalif, the launch of Blend have resulted in the highest weekly lending volume we have seen since the week of the other side meta mint. It's
Well,
yeah,
I mean, that's still at this point, it's good PR is any
yeah,
PR, but or excuse me, any PR is good PR, but obviously we have to make sure there's good first impressions of a lot of
yeah.
these things, or users might never use it again. And Khalid's actually the one that I've had the most conversation with, when it comes to Blend. He sent me a lot of good resources there,
Mm,
but I'm interested to see how it plays out because from a lot of perspectives, like Ethereum is such a different world than Solana. Like,
yeah.
like I'm even seeing um, it's funny. Like I staked all my D gods, right? But I'm
Mm.
like I'm I don't want to touch. I don't want to touch the chain to go and switch it
Yeah.
to the non-custodial staking. I'm
I
like,
didn't do it, bro. I'm not spending like $2,000 on staking
yeah,
custodial, not custodial. What the fuck?
yeah, yeah, I do not blame you at all whatsoever. That's yeah, it's just such a different environment because they have centralized lending
Mm,
there as well, and I I mean, that's a whole nother discussion in itself of, with Ethereum TVL, it's like how
yeah.
much of that TVL is just people not wanting to pay gas fee to reduce their
Which is good
yeah,
because yeah, you buy,
it's
you never sell. That's the goal.
yeah, and so, I mean, I can't I can't form an actual opinion until I see kinda how it goes out because of the difference in the environment. So it would be interesting to see. I think it's good exposure for everybody since people are talking about financialization, and even what's really cool about that is that now people can see that on Ethereum and start
Mm,
breeding new ideas on Solana. I think it could
yeah.
be bullets for Solana because they can see how Ethereum causes issues on that side, and we can kind of learn from that and reverse engineer those problems to have
Mm,
a more successful platform on Solana. Because when there's actual DeFi protocols that work, like we're seeing with a lot of like Orca and Sharky, right? The two
mm,
biggest things that we can talk about all day and for the past months because they've been so successful. Like they do their things well, and obviously there's other variables like first mover advantage and things like that. But they do their things well, and they've been able to pay off massively on Solana because how friendly it is. So
mm,
the fact that people can get other ideas from there and bring it here, like we've seen we're seeing a lot of different ideas prop up. Obviously, with all the lending aggregators now, like that started just because of how successful Sharky's been on the
Yeah.
branches of that. So excited to see where the branches come from that, where a new tree stems up and branches of that go where. But
Mm.
it's a slower growing ecosystem than obviously NFTs, but it's one that you can actually watch. You can see grow
That's true.
from a quantitative perspective as well.
And we're still in a bear market anyway, right? So, like again, we playing some games that we don't even know they're gonna be be there in the next bull market. Like, what could have been like the consequences of blend during a bull, bro? Like, can you imagine? Like, if we get like to the highest volume of lending in a bear market since other side right now, when everything is dead, can you imagine like when Bitcoin will be at 100K?
Yeah, everybody's leveraging all their NFTs and going to the moon, man. Which
But yeah,
the funny thing is that if there's enough liquidity, like it would be beautiful, right? Everybody would love Blend. Everybody would be making money. The lenders would be making money. The borrowers would
mm,
be making money. Everybody's making money, and so everybody would love it. But obviously, that's what a bull market is.
yeah,
So it's really interesting to see how there are still being successful products made in the bear market when everything is
yeah.
against.
I mean, like I even remember like on Alpaca on Binance, right? You could take like lending position when you get money to lend. You lend money, you put back into the pool, and then the APY on borrowing was like higher to the
Yeah,
lending.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, those were where the algorithms can really just screw over an entire protocol, and we've seen that a
No,
lot before as
I
well.
don't see why. I don't see a problem here.
Yeah,
Banks are going doing that all the time.
yeah, and that's where you see things that are too good to be true, like with the
Yeah,
Anchor stuff. Like I was very close putting a significant amount of funds in Anchor and Luna, and
yeah, me too.
I mean, it came down to just me liking Solana just more, and
Yeah,
so I just didn't want to transfer funds over
yeah.
there. Quite simply, it's not like I had this intuition of I knew it
Mm.
too good to be true. So
Bro, like if Bitcoin would have been at 80K and it touched like 78, I would have sold my crypto position and I would put like 200 grand to 250 to anchor. Like that wouldn't
yeah,
be bad.
and I'm pretty sure there's people who are on the flip side of you that are
Yeah.
like, once once Bitcoin got to whatever, I'm
Mm.
exiting crypto entirely. I'm taking my
Yeah.
funds out of Anchor, and so there's people on both sides of those
Mm.
coins, right? But it's when there's a market like this that we've seen that everybody's been adjusted to this bear market and everybody's
Mm.
kind of just scouring and scourging for any type of liquidity and volume that comes around. When we have these many bull market feelings right now
Yeah.
with the coins, with Mad Lads, what happened with them. Um, there's definitely areas to take advantage of the most right now. I think what's beautiful with DeFi, especially if you're long term bullish on a coin, it doesn't matter if it goes up or down. Like
Yeah.
if volume is going to be beneficial for you. So a lot of the times when you see like a lot of people in DeFi want it to be neutral, right? But if there's no neutralness, if there's no volume behind the neutralness, it's hard for you to even have anything in the first place. So that's what's cool is that no matter where the market goes, there's an opportunity for a DeFi play.
Mm.
So it's I mean that and that's finance in general, right? So
Yeah.
that's what's cool about it, and that's why I can't wait to see kind of what continues to grow and what ends up being the next opportunity where volume flows there.
Yeah. I mean, like if uh, American banks continue to go to to close, people will take their fucking asset, buy Bitcoin and maybe NFT because it's gonna be more stable than the fucking dollars, bro.
Oh yeah, I have a friend who's in commercial real estate, and he's like, look, like I don't trust the dollar, I don't
It's
trust
crazy.
banks. Like I'm putting more money into crypto than I ever thought I would in my entire life. Like, then go for it.
Yeah. But
It's
yeah, that was like I discussed with like some guys in NFT NYC, and they were saying like we can't see a bull market this year because the dollar is going to shit.
Hmm.
So that's a hypothesis, but bro, if it's happening, it's gonna be fucking World War III, bro. Like we're gonna get paid in ruble or I don't know, or yen.
Yeah, BETC to yen is gonna be the new
Let's
Coinbase
go. Yeah.
third, and oh my gosh,
BTC
Coin
to
market
1
cap
million. Yeah.
is gonna be
BTC to
unbelievable.
1 million, but in yen.
Man, and we're
That would
not.
be
The
fun.
crazy part is we're not that far off it, but we'll see. I mean, you always hear about both sides, right? People are saying that
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, everything's on the brink of collapse, right? No matter where you are, because
Yeah.
everything has been tied to the U.S. economy for a
Of
very long
course.
time. So,
Yeah. So what do you do in DeFi right now? Like, what's your move?
so Solana specifically, what I've seen, just because I'm very week to week basis, right?
Mhm.
I take things in clusters of weeks. So, and I obviously apply what's happened recently, and then apply it to maybe this will keep happening in the future, right? But we're in crypto, everything could happen at a moment's notice. But right now we're seeing a lot of like stable movement, a lot of new neutrality, right? So that's
Mm.
in lending. That's always what you want to see. That's kind of going to be a good play for you, because majority of the time NFTs tend to rise in value during a neutral time, right? And
Mhm.
so we have that, and I mean we're bounced between $21 and $23. So it's how you feel. A lot of DeFi right now in a bear market is how you feel about sentiment, right? So
Yeah.
sentiment and where the volume is. So for me, the sentiment feels neutral. It's going to bounce. Like for me personally, I feel like it's going to stay in these mid 20, low 20s for a while until something big happens, and
As a
then
black swan.
yeah. So lending is obviously very profitable. A lot of volume there, and I think Kamito is a great option, especially if you're conservative, because they can
Mhm.
adjust with you on the fly. Me personally, since I almost not almost strictly, I kind of have a little bit of a dabble of Degens for DeFi reserved, but um, for me, since I'm just such a long term vision bull on
Mhm.
Solana, I like to set my own margins on Orca or Radium, or they're just concentrated liquidity pools. So how I do it is I keep my pools where they are, because if they reach the bottom of my margin, I'm just gonna have
Yeah.
100% Solana anyway, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hold this Solana because I know it's not. And that's kind of what I did when Solana went to like $8, right? I had
Mhm.
like all this Solana, and it was like my pools were all maxed out, and I'm like, look, I'm fine with that, because first of all, we had like billions of dollars of volume, so I had crazy yield, but also I had all this Solana. I'm like, look, I'll just use the yield that I got to put into more
Mhm.
DeFi stuff, and then just hold this Solana for however long it takes to bounce off of $8. And so that's kind of what happened on that prospect. Obviously, with the DeFi wallet, DeFi DAO wallet for Divine Dogs, you have to move a little bit more professionally than that. So there's a few different positions in at the same time that kind of
Yeah.
helped us leverage a lot of different things. But I was personally able to gain more yield on my personal accounts just because of the sentiment that I personally had
Mm.
at that time. But for a time like this of neutrality and pretty good volume, but there's pretty high competition at the same time,
Yeah.
I think liquidity pools are a perfect place to be, especially in a Camino type deal where you don't have to worry about it. But like I said, the biggest thing why I'm not have a bunch of my funds as Camino is because they do take a pretty good percent out. 10% is pretty good for performance fee,
Mhm.
and you also can't manage your margins personally. So,
So do you manage your portfolio personally and for Divine Dogs differently?
yes.
Okay.
So personally, I obviously have a lot of emotions in my own thing. I like to be a little bit more aggressive to where I personally feel
Yeah,
where
makes
the
sense.
things are going to go. And then for Divine Dogs, it's neutral, and I try to hedge all the positions that I can, right? And I try to stay away from anything degen at all, because the thing is that even if we stay with our sustainable and conservative things like that's what we've seen through like the last month for Divine Dogs. We still had 7.5% for the month, but I played it pretty conservative this month just because I didn't trust the neutrality versus my own personal funds. I kind of leaned all the way into the neutrality and kind of went a little bit more degen where
Mm.
I participated in some of these liquidity pools and didn't have any fear within the lending markets.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's yeah, it's like I guess like hedge fund managers don't manage the money from all of other people like they do. It makes sense.
Yeah, which I mean, I wish I had more of an intricate like thing to tell you, like, oh yeah, there's 10% of the funds here, 20%, and this
Mm.
for like I wish I could tell you that there's like 5 different platforms
Yeah.
that I spread across our funds, but like we've mentioned several times here, it's you analyze where's the volume. Okay, majority of the volume is in between lending in the NFT markets and liquidity pools, right? So,
Mm.
and that's I mean, liquidity pools are always going to have a majority of the volume because they're liquidity pools, right? Especially on Solana when we have a lot of movement all the time because it's so cheap. So you look there, you see what within those makes sense and what within those fall into your own risk management, and then you kind of do the same for loans. Obviously, loans you have to, especially with NFTs, you have to kind of use your judgment on that end, but always having a good feel of what's a good LTV is is best for you as well. But there's just simply at this moment in time, I thought decals was going to be that, but at this moment in time, there's just not a massive amount of volume or enough of a volume to where I can say that 4 or 5 protocols
Mm.
are worthy enough for us not to lose out on the opportunity cost of others.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's tricky in a way, right? Because um like it depends on your strategy and like yeah, also like again managing like the risk of other people in a way to secure like to perform, but also like not be exposed to crazy shit in crypto and NFT and DeFi that you dodge bullets 10 times.
Yeah, which that's where time like this can get fun. You know,
Mm.
it's you can get lulled to sleep into the same things over and over again, and that's where you can sometimes make mistakes. Right, you
Mm.
turn on autopilot, you set the same pools, you
Yeah.
adjust a little bit here and there. You fall into your formats and structures, and then something happens to where either it spikes high or low, and you're not ready for it because you've just been so conditioned for these current
Yeah.
market times, right? But now where you see there's some liquidity moving in on different type of plays, there's opportunity for people to get a little bit more degen. It's like that raises some questions on, okay, is this viable enough to use
Yeah.
funds,
Mm.
or um, is it just something to where the opportunity cost of
Yeah.
staying conservative outweighs the risk? So
Yeah. Works for shitcoin too. Same
yeah,
questions.
yeah,
But yeah, like also like what happened for Divine Dog the last month, right? Like you did your upgrade V2, right? That was last month,
yeah,
right? Yeah. You
yeah.
want
It
to talk
had
about that? Yeah, let's
new
share with
new
Divine
new
Dogs.
VV2R. Yeah, it was actually what's really cool is that the artist that did that for us, he actually won the Hotheads art competition,
Mm.
and so that was pretty neat. He was able to, um, it was like there was I want to say there was like 20 participants, 30 participants, but he was able to win 50 soul, was able to have a collab on their next collections of Hotheads, and that was really cool. And there's a lot more detail. I'm really happy with the way he did it. But
Mm.
looking forward, for Divine Dogs, I'm really excited for this month. for our two games to really come into development, our DeFi educational games, competitive DeFi educational games.
That's
So
cool.
I'm really excited for that. We've been dropping some art sneak peeks there and our demo. We've I've shared the demo with a few people in there, and they're
Mm.
pretty hyped up. But it's all developed in the background. It's just at this point, you're just you never know how much art and animation and UI needs to be put into a game until it's
Yeah.
actually done. It's like the development has been done for a while.
Mm.
But it's that. So it's going to be really cool. People are going to be able to really leverage their DeFi knowledge to have a fun experience that I don't think
Yeah.
people have seen. Like it's not like a what we've seen um, of recent NFT and crypto games. Like we saw with Bored Ape Club, like
Mm.
kind of just being a flash game of just
Yeah. Plano
mouse
did that
scroller.
too.
Yeah, it's um oh yeah, I mean, Animo's game looked really cool. Like I enjoyed
100%.
that looked fun. But it's definitely a thing where like we're gonna be tracking your stats. You'll have a win loss rate or ratio with
Mm.
you and different people online head to head. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I wish we had the demo maybe next time. I mean, honestly, next time we have this, it is gonna be live. So that's
Let's
what's gonna be
go.
cool. We can have a a decoders tournament on there.
Let's
See who's the
go.
best. Best spur and faith.
We can do that definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Um. Oh yeah. Some comment in the chat. So yeah. Sorry, pestilence, but that's not my Discord pings.
Yeah, that was mine. I've sorry, Eternal. Right when
Sorry.
I saw that, I turned them off. So
Yeah.
that shouldn't be an issue.
I don't have sound. I just have the badge. Like I can't manage the sound on Discord. And yeah, decals need more liquidity and volume. Like, how do you want to manage that?
I mean, they're trying to do some different things. So they're trying to really appeal hard to degens. Like they just released their degen mode, which of their options, which is
Mhm.
kind of basically more of a predictor. What we've seen with kind of different projects put out a soul predictor, like it's going to be higher here, lower there. Um, which I get the appeal, how it can appeal to others, but it's just feel like we live in the Web3 world of everything is here and now and then gone. So it's like once you lose that initial attention grab, it's
Mm.
really hard to get it back. Like Frank has done an astronomical
Yeah.
good, like just absolutely been incredible with it about keeping attention and having those things build up the way. And it's honestly going to be a case study
Yeah.
in the future. I'm sure when it comes to marketing, but when you lose stuff like that, especially when you had the hype that you did, it's going to take something really
Yeah.
massive to be able to get it back.
Mm. I know 100%. And that's probably the hardest shit to do with an NFT project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I thing is, I love the thing about what they could possibly do to kind of get out of that rut, right? So they marketed themselves really heavily as being this an NFT fi options deal that appeals to degens,
Mhm.
but that appeal to the degens didn't work with the NFT options because the way that it played out, it just seemed kind of overcomplicated for
Mhm.
people, right? And so maybe they should have. I know we're looking in hindsight now, but if they started with that base product of the Soul Predictor, a better version of the Soul Predictor, and then moved to the NFT options on that front, it could have been big. But at the same time, we're now seeing really the reality of how hard NFT options is because especially when it has to be peer to peer to avoid like market
Mm.
manipulation, and there's not a centralized person kind of funding that like we do see in traditional markets. It's like when there's not enough volume and liquidity on there, people are going to get turned off really fast. Just like
Yeah.
I tried it within the first week of their platform being launched. I check in every other day to kind of put my orders in and stuff, and my orders weren't filled after a few days. I'm like, okay, I'm just not coming back because that's opportunity cost, right? And
Mhm.
that's something that a lot of people take seriously, whether they consciously think about it or not. Like a lot of people aren't going to put in bids on a whole bunch of NFTs
Yeah.
that are maybe unrealistic, right? Like people can put in 50% bids on DeGods, but they're like, that doesn't make sense because even though maybe in a year or two that might hit for some
Mm.
odd reason, maybe because of a fat finger, you're not going to do that over trying to trade up for like the 500 soul or whatever that you
Yeah.
have with in there. So it's just kind of using that example metaphor
Yeah.
opportunity. Doesn't
And
make
it's
sense.
adding a shit ton of complexity of trading NFTs, which is crazy. Because if you don't get into that kind of like move, you miss out a lot. And even for founders, like understanding those like options and like leverage, etc., to continue to push your floor price up and do the thing that's gonna impact that without getting fucked by like bluff farmer or like over leverage people, like that's that's a shit show.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
and that's
it can fuck up a whole project. Like you can like your floor price can never could possibly never go to the top right corner because you have leverage position and then everything crashed and everyone's fucked up each other. Like it's gonna be a real PvP, bro.
yeah, yeah, we don't like to think of it as zero sum. There's a lot of things that are zero sum
Fucking
PvP.
financial market.
And yeah, especially with how niche we are. You know, just
Yeah.
thinking about the things like someone said like in the whole entire like Web3 space, there's only like 1 million users, and I'm thinking, well, how many are on Solana, and then how many are even interested on Solana DeFi? Like you niche yourself into different niches, right? It's
Yeah.
extremely hard for you to not like basically know who you're taking money from at some point. I mean, that's what we
Mm.
see a lot of when people dump on their own friends, use their own friends as exit liquidity, right? So it's and what's cool about that is, well, I mean, it's not cool, but what's cool about the future is that the more that we're able to develop on DeFi specifically and the financialization of NFTs,
Mhm.
people think, oh well, the more we financialize NFTs, the more that they're just shit coins, right?
Yeah.
Which I disagree because I don't think any shit coin has ever been able to provide the things that NFTs have with the Ghost
Yeah.
community and obviously now utility is a taboo to talk about now, but it's like all the utility that people have got, whether they realize it or not. I mean, projects that have just been a complete Ponzi still have had utility, have been able to pump your bags until it runs
Yeah.
out, right?
Bro, the
So
utility is pumping the bag.
exactly, exactly. So I think that it just makes it more tradable and more liquid. Like I mean, a
Mm.
lot of people have said before, but it makes it more accessible, right? You're seeing fractionalization hasn't really caught on because of
Yeah.
how small we are, but um, I think if if this ecosystem is going to grow, it's going to be leveraged by
Yeah.
DeFi. DeFi is going to benefit a lot from it. So, I mean, people are right. If we're always going to stay this tiny, and we're always going to be in this
Mm.
perpetual limbo of a bear market, you're right. DeFi is not the way to go, and we should just be trying to be digital art collectors and traders.
Mm.
Right? But if we want it to be where we think and know it can go to, and where this technology can go to, the like that we just know it can, right? That we the reason why we got into this space, a majority of us did,
Yeah.
it's going to be backed a lot by financialization.
So is DeFi is like the chain right now?
You
Because
said,
there's more volume, but like is that like yet if still like the DeFi chain?
yeah, I think I mean, whoever has the most TVL is
Yeah.
the DeFi chain, and the fact that they have disincentivizations of, I mean, we see how powerful disincentivizations are with
Mm.
people were able to bridge like 10,000 plus NFTs were bridged in less than 24 hours
Yeah.
with DeGods, and then another 12,000 was with Utes, right? You see how
Yeah.
powerful that disincentivations are more than incentivizations, right? So um, with that, yeah, but is it as retail friendly or
No.
no?
No.
But it's But
You don't need to think about that, bro.
it goes back to the argument for the whole reason why people are saying that DeGods should be on Ethereum is like, well,
Yeah,
it's yeah, that's for like the bigger buyers, the bigger
yeah.
players, right? So
I mean,
it's
the floor price is like equivalent to ATH on Sol anyway, right? So, but like we only have like we are only going to go up from there. So, like for the it makes sense. For a smaller project, not really because yeah, not here yet. But yeah, anyway, the future is multi-chain, right? So we'll see.
yeah. Yeah, and that's I mean, that's what Web3 is, right? Web3 is the connection of
Yeah,
all different app applications. Why can it not be the connection of all different chains as
exactly.
well? I think being, which people have said this before, but being like a complete chain maxi is very Web2, right?
Yeah.
You're maximized on whatever social media application, right? Whatever kind of tribalism that there is, a lot of
Mm.
it in Web2. Being very tribal is Web2, where in Web3 it's really about being interconnected in the purest form when it comes to because of decentralization, right? So
And how do you do DeFi crushing?
you said DeFi cross chain.
DeFi crushing, like for example, I have the liquidity pool on Sol, and it's the same on ETH, and then or vice versa. And
Yeah, I think that's technology that has yet to be
okay,
invented yet. To be honest with you, I think
that could be big though.
yeah, people have to think about the different advantages of different chains, just like how there's different advantages of different apps you use, right? Like there's like TikTok is very different from YouTube, but they're both considered a like
Mm.
entertainment platform, right? Some people call TikTok a social media app, but you know what we're saying.
Yeah,
So you have to weigh the pros and cons of different things, and different platforms are going to be weeded out once that's comes of reality. Like I don't see any reason why. Man, and this is going to cause, but I don't see why NFT trading would make sense on a chain that does a lot of
yeah.
fees. If we go multi-chain completely and can just trade
Mm.
with very minimal gas fees, where true DeFi like long-term staking, like okay, you're guaranteed 30% for a
Yeah.
year, or 20 or 15% for a year. I can see how Ethereum would make sense because you'd have that disincentivization, which promotes sustainability when there is
Mhm.
all that volume locked up within it. So there's there's a lot of pros and cons of different things, and that's how cross chain is going to work. And honestly, I've done a poor job of being more of a multi chain maxi
Yeah,
than a
we're busy, bro.
yeah. But it's like I mean you know it, just when you have a project on here, it's
Yeah,
like your loyalty kind of has
yeah,
to you can
exactly.
build on it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's something for me. I agree with you. Like there is opportunity everywhere, so you should track everything. Like go after every airdrop and shit. But like when
Yeah, there's only a certain amount of hours in the day, right?
exactly?
So,
So yeah, but yeah, there is opportunity everywhere, even right now in the bear market. But yeah. Yeah, if you have any question in the YouTube live or like on the Twitter space, feel free to raise your hand or post your question. Did we forget any topic? I don't think so.
like, oh, I think that's kind of big. Is that Helium migrated to Solana? That's been a pretty
Okay,
cool deal, just because for me personally, because I have actually a Helium miner, right? I was kind of
that's
it was
cool.
on its when it was on its own network. I was getting like 0.001 helium a day, and I'm like, oh my, this is literally a fraction of a cent, right? And then I moved, and then I'm like, I've yet to set it back up, and so it's cool that that's now on the chain that I've
Mm,
kind of been on forever now. So, but I mean that just shows that people, even though those big established, like Helium has been
mm,
established a long time. Like they've moved to Solana because they see the infrastructure makes sense for that.
yeah.
So, and that comes to show you how like a network like that wants to do like have the internet of Web3, you need a chain like Solana to have those
Mm,
very micro transactions. So you can't have that because obviously when we see things like that, like the internet, you need a lot of transactions to be able
Yeah.
to facilitate these different things. And when it's slow, that's you don't want to. All I'm gonna say is that I would play gaming on a Solana type of
Yeah.
uh, network than
It,
anything else.
100%. And I want to play and make money without being Ponzi that the game stop after a month.
Yeah, play to earn, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, really,
exactly. I
that's
mean,
such a fresh topic.
you can watch to earn, you can walk to earn, you can walk to earn. There's so many meta, man.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like you said, that no one has thought of watch to earn. That's why.
I mean, like it's. I see like. Do you know like? Do you remember like the project Transmophobia? Like they did like the D goddess, like the female D goddess
Yes, yes, yes,
collection.
yes.
So they like someone from the community, like D goddess, sent me the link of one of their platform, and they did it like embedding like a Twitch stream, and then you can watch the stream, which is not their own stream, it's someone else's stream, and they can get your own token. But so the guy sent me that, and I said, bro, it's nothing. That you just took the fucking Twitch stream. I can do that like in 2 hours of code. And that's where like I got excited for this player that I just pushed. It took more time to like put all together, but now it's working. I have to check a couple of things because like I have people who claim more tokens than the duration of the show, so I don't know who they did that.
Oh no.
But I
Oh,
think it's even because like you can open two tabs and then you watch twice and then you claim.
oh no. Did you just leak the alpha bug?
Farming the views.
Yeah, farming it. But that's that. I mean, but that's what's so cool about what makes Watch to Earn so different, because it's actually
Yeah.
sustainable, because there's revenue that comes out of
Mm.
watching. There's not a lot of revenue that comes from walking around a whole bunch, but I
Yeah.
still have my faith in Step, and I need
Yeah.
Step in
Oh yeah.
make
But I mean, like typing is tricky because by definition, like you can always walk, like you can run, you can what the fuck you want. You can even pay people to work for you, and then but then that means like you have to have billions of token, right?
Yeah.
When does that stop?
Well,
You
eventually
know
it
what I
does.
mean?
That's why it's a Ponzi. They try to not let it. But no, um, I think that's one of the things that I wanted to have real faith in, because
Mm,
it did do a lot for Solana, since it's one of like the biggest projects to have
yeah.
been on Solana. And that what I honestly thought that had like the closest appeal to actual real
Yeah.
world adaptation. Like people could get on that. Like I saw
Mm,
TikToks of it from people that I would never see, and it's like of people doing stepping. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is it. This is the moment I've been
yeah.
waiting for. This real world adaptation. Like they're coming. They're coming. It's time.
Yeah.
But,
But I mean, it's we can do what the fuck we want. It's permissionless. So yeah, just try some shit, and then if it's stick, it's stick. And if you don't, like, if you create a Ponzi but people make money, it's a good Ponzi.
yeah, beautiful Web3,
If
man.
you're not the last one buying.
Yeah. Which of course that'll never happen, right?
Yeah,
There'll
of
never be a
course.
last buyer.
Yeah, yeah. It's like buying Pepe at the top. Never gonna happen. Mm. But like it's even like the case of like Dogecoin, like when you run like up crazy and you have like a Dogecoin millionaire guy, you create a whole channel around his status, like yeah, I make money with Dogecoin, I will never sell, blah blah blah. And then he went from 1 million to well less. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, then you create a brand around yourself, and then as soon as Dogecoin is pumping back again, then you coming back to the timeline. So and then you create a business out of that. You can make money, and you leverage that. You leverage your Dogecoin position to create something that most tangible. That's cool.
that's how you promote
So
sustainability. It's how the Ponzi
yeah,
becomes sustainable, man.
exactly. So
But
yeah,
let's be honest, everything is a Ponzi. We just make it sustainable somehow.
shh, don't say that.
Well, I'm saying even traditional markets are Ponzi. Even US dollar is Ponzi.
Yeah,
Everything is
yeah.
built on one big Ponzi, man.
But bro, like, you know, there is a major riot in France right now, right? Because of the retirement stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
That's a fucking Ponzi, bro. Like, you pay for the next generation, and if you don't have enough young people to pay for the older people, then the system doesn't work. What do you fucking call that?
That's so true. That is actually a great way to put that. It's so true.
I mean, like, you can see the pyramid, like, that's a pyramid of age.
Yeah, I think the only way we escape the Ponzi is through DeFi and DeFi on Solana specifically.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, like, you can always create a token that is have good tokenomics and makes sense with a business value behind it anyway, right? So,
well, that's I mean one of our so we have within our game. There's five
mm,
different categories of questions, right? And each one that you answer correct has a special ability within you with on your units that you
mm,
deploy. And so one of them is tokenomics, because I think it's something that's not talked about enough, right? So we have a
yeah,
section, even though it's not specifically DeFi, right? It's not a DeFi, but general questions over tokenomics and what makes good tokenomics, what makes good tokenomic features.
mm,
Like that's something that is not talked about at all. I think it was talked about a lot when everybody was coming out with a staking coin, right? Back in the day, but not
yeah,
very much anymore. And I think we're going to see the struggles of that come with some of the people that get wrecked in meme coin season.
yeah. Oh, by the way, we mentioned it in the last month, and you can probably wrap up after that. But like, have you seen Midas from NBC, like the stablecoin? I launched it, right?
Yeah, from what I've seen right now, it's been pretty stable, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
worked.
that's working. Well, isn't didn't it turn out to be kind of what we speculated on? Like they just have massively like
Yeah,
the
uh,
token is or excuse me, the NFTs are massively like averaged or I'm trying to there's a lot more value in NFTs than there are
mm,
in the token. And
that's
like the tokens are
the
massively over
only
leveraged.
way you can put that off anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything on the timeline about it. Like, that's why. Is that launched?
Yeah.
They launched it, right? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. There's Midas, yes, Midas, whatever. Well, we can see what's up with it next month.
Yeah. Khalif says, do you already have a release date for the first version of the Divine Dogs game? That is a great question. So how we're doing it is that we are on the brink of having a official release date. We just have to figure out what's really cool is that there's four different realms, and so we want to do it like a transcendent, like we're divine
Mm,
dogs, right? So the first realm is mortal dogs, and you have uh, the transcendent dog, and you have divine dogs, and you have like the godly dogs. And that's not the second name. I'm forgetting the name of the realm, but it's divine dogs and then transcendent dogs. But it's mortal. Can't remember the second one. The divine and transcendence, but all these different realms are a different stage with different bases with different units, and so your goal and each one of them are stronger than the last. So to make a long story short, what we have to do is that obviously that's all new art for four different stages, and so what we have to do is that we just finished the first stage of all of the art. So we just kind of have to multiply that
mm.
by three more, so we'll multiply that by three, and we'll know how long it's going to take. And so what we've had is that we've averaged it out to be at the end of the month, but not a specific
Nice.
date
Okay,
yet.
that's cool. That's exciting for the future. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
and that's
Yeah, I want to see the demo, bro.
yeah. I mean, we can just hit my DMs, man. We can do it. I don't want you to because everything is base assets right now. So the game is fully
Mm,
functional, but everything is base assets like example questions, not real DeFi questions within. We actually just finished all the DeFi questions on that, so that's all good. And then the
That's
UI
cool.
is being developed now. But yeah, I definitely want to show you that.
What I'm thinking about that, bro, do a course on Asset Dash.
Do a course on Acid
Yeah.
Dash.
Like introduce Divine Dog like the same way I did like for introducing decoder stuff. Yeah, like do that for Divine Dogs and even for DeFi stuff. That could be cool. Like I think I had like 3,000 views or something and like 1,000 completion of the like people seeing it. So and we all got like some people like jumping and subscribers on the channel. So that's
Uh,
cool. It works.
that's awesome. Definitely have to do that, man.
Fresh people in the community, yeah, let's go. I can introduce you to Matt, so you can talk and like set up the course. He can set it up like the account for you. Can talk
That'd be
about it.
awesome. Yeah, that one link that you sent me a while ago, I did apply for that, and
Nice. Oh, so you have it?
I did not get an email back.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So I will need to email Matt about that. Let's go. Do you have anything to mention, bro?
No, I think we're going to see a lot of exciting things come out of this month in DeFi. It really started to peak. I feel like the last 2 months, things have started to peak right when this window comes, the last week of the month, the first week of the month. Interested to see how things transition. Where the biggest thing to look at right now, excuse me, the DeFi markets is to see how sustainable this this volume can be, especially with the competition being that it is right now. Luckily, competition tends to correlate with volume pretty closely. You peg to it, but you definitely don't want to get wrecked and be the last one holding the bag, just like a section of us talking about today. So just keep your eyes on volumes and make sure if you want to participate in DeFi right now and don't want to kind of lose sleep at night, I definitely go over and check out Camino because it's very user friendly. I think that's why they're succeeding so well because people just don't have to think about it. They can just place it in there and sleep well at night.
That's dope. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, make money but sleep well at night. That's more important.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Yeah.
My goal for sure.
Yeah, do both. Make money and sleep.
I have an early flight tomorrow morning.
Oh shit!
One more vacation. Yeah,
Time
but
to wrap up
flight
then.
is about 4 hours from now. So.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's like such an odd time, but
yeah, that's always like the best flight when you go early. The airport is empty. It's cool. Like you go straight to the, but then you have to wait 2 hours in front of the gate. That's a freaking annoying part.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, but man, like we should wrap it up.
Yep.
Because yeah, we are above the hours. Oh yeah, so for everyone who are on the Watch platform right now, don't forget to claim your token because if you don't do it, I'm not gonna count them. And if you are over like the hours, I'm gonna cap it to 60 max because that doesn't make sense. I need to fix some shit, see what happened, and but I will cap around like if you have more than 1 hour and 4 minutes, I will cap it to 64 at 65. So subscribe to the channel, check Divine Dogs. Thank you so much, Hash. That was a nice stream, like the usual. We will see you next month. I'm also going to upload all of the fucking video that I'm late about like our show. This weekend, I have to do it this weekend. Now that I'm done with dev, I can go back to editing. Everyone, check Divine Dogs project. Buy some, sweep the fucking floor. Check the V2. It's cool, like a nice design. If you like a pixel art, it's cool. And yeah, thank you so much, man. And I will let you take your flight.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. It's always an awesome stream. It's always super fun being on here. And next month, hopefully, have some cool stuff for the decoders community to participate in.
Let's go. Thank you so much, man. Have a good night.